This video is about getting your Numnuts kit ready for the season ahead. We'll cover off avoiding issues during marking, general cleaning and the hygiene of your kit. This is what a Numnuts device looks like after it's been used for a hard season and then been sitting in the shed after a year. And so at the front here we've got where the needle goes and the channel. It's just covered in dirt, it's got lanolin, it's got dust from the rubber rings, and then of course that's mixed with local anaesthetic, so it all congeals and gets stored up around these areas here. The needle's all dirty, and that's the same needle that would have been used last on the lambs. And then moving up to the fluid junction, you can see here that it's gone all dark. That's basically the lubricant and anaesthetic causing mold around there. So that needs to be changed. And then up towards the injector, there is a mechanical device, so the channels need to be cleaned out. This one's working okay, but actually, if not cleaned, that can cause you issues when you start using it again. And under here, around the jaws, you can see the buildup of dirt and wool. Again, that'll start affecting the operation of the device. We'll now move on to what you're going to need to clean it and how we'll clean it. So, before you're going to dismantle the device for cleaning, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a bucket, some washing up liquid, your other half toothbrush, a wire brush, 2.5mm Allen key, a couple of tools, a phillips screwdriver, tiny flathead screwdriver, a pair of pliers, and some to dispose of the needles with, some olive oil to lubricate the O-ring. You're also going to need some spare parts. You can get the annual service kits, or you can buy the parts individually from the Numnuts store. So before we can clean it, we need to dismantle it. So to take the gun apart, you start with the collar here. So you rotate that lefty-loosey, so anti-clockwise, rotate it, pull it back, and then you open the jaws, pull the fluid junction forward, and then that releases it out of its tracks. And here you're left with the fluid junction and the needle. And so the needle at this point is going to be very unhygienic. It's probably going to be blunt as well, so you want to dispose of that. And it's the same with the fluid junction. So I'm just going to get my pliers and twist off the needle from the fluid junction and put it in my sharps disposal. With the fluid junction, you can see here that it's also really dirty. It'll be filled with bacteria both inside the bore, where this is the hole that takes the anaesthetic from the bottle, and then out where the needle goes. As you can see, it's dirty, it'll be moldy. In and around here we've got a build-up of mold inside where the valve is, so this just needs to be disposed of. The fluid junction should last around 2,000 doses, or you need to replace it after any large amount of downtime, or at least every season. The Numnuts device will be left like this. This is the point where you're just going to dump it in the bucket of water, ready for cleaning. So the Numnuts device has been sitting in hot soapy water for a couple of hours now. That's just to loosen up all the grime and the dirt. So even now you can see that the dirt has started to come off. What I'm going to do is just, with the toothbrush, is just give it a quick scrub down, just to loosen up everything a little bit more around. It gets really gloopy around here. So on the injector, if you push the plunger forward, you expose the channels in here. You just want to get the toothbrush in and around there to clean it, and also dip it in and cycle it. And that'll clear any dirt out of the channels inside it as well. So that's the injector cleaned up. There's the pivot point in here. So if you open that up, just get anything loose that you see in there, clean it out. And now the important part for the jaws operating smoothly is just to clean anything out inside these pivot points. There's a pivot point there, there, and there. The toothbrush is great at just getting into all the wee nooks and crannies. And again, just sloshing it around in the water just to dislodge any bits of grit. Now the other point to really have a good go at is the prongs where the ring goes on, but also in here where the needle goes through this slot. So there's a slot there. That gets filled up with powder from the ring mixed with anaesthetic, so it can get really bunged up. So I've just now got my wire brush, and this is really to get into the metal parts properly. The toothbrush can only take you so far, But this just gets off the really hard stuck parts on the metal. So that around in by the prongs, and cleaning this will just help the ring come on and off much easier when you start again this coming year. The hardest part is this bit in here where the needle goes. And so with the wire brush, if you've got the end bit there, the long bit, go pretty hard inside there. And if you've got a screwdriver or something sharp, simply just make sure that any stuck bits are just cleaned out. So the gun's clean and it's dry, so I'm just going to show you now how to put all the new parts on. So what we're going to put on is a new fluid junction. We're going to replace the O-ring on the injector. We're going to lubricate it. We're also going to put a new needle on. We'll open up the fluid junction bag, fresh fluid junction, and here we have a new O-ring. So to take the O-ring off the injector, you just get your small flathead screwdriver or something similar. And put the flathead underneath it and just pull it off. There we go. Let's get a tissue and wipe off any extra water or excess olive oil. Now get your new O-ring. You simply pull it over the top like that, and it's on. So that O-ring will be dry. What you need to do now is put some vegetable oil. Only use organic oils, so food grade oils, so olive oils, vegetable oils. So just get a little bit in your finger, in your fingertip, and just spread it all around the outside of the O-ring. You can take any excess off, you don't need a lot. So next we're going to load your needle onto your fluid junction. So be very careful not to stab yourself with the needle. Just rotate it on. That should be enough, but if you'd like to give it a little bit of an extra tweak with your pliers, simply just rotate it a tiny bit more using the pliers. Now your fluid junction and your needle are ready to go onto the Numnuts device. First thing is to open the jaws, and then on the fluid junction you can see that there's these fins at the bottom. They align with an opening on the top of the Numnuts device. You set the fins in to the slot, and then you pull back, and it needs a bit of a push to overcome the O-ring, and that's it in place. And now with the collar, rotate it until you feel that it engages with the openings, pull it forward, twist, and it over centers until you can't move anymore. And now just to check that it's all working fine, with the jaws still open to stop from blunting the needle, you just actuate it backwards and forwards to make sure that everything's running smoothly. And that's your Numnuts device ready to go. So once your Numnuts device is clean and it's assembled, you just want to go and check these 3 screws here and this screw here to make sure that they're tight and that you won't have any issues during use. With your 2.5mm Allen key, just check that these screws aren't loose. They don't need to be super tight, so you're screwing metal into plastic here, so it can be easily over tightened. All you want to do is make sure that they're not coming loose too easily. And then how to tell if you've over tightened them is because the jaws will no longer close over, and then with a Phillips screwdriver, just check that this one's tight. So I've shown you a Mankey gun, I've cleaned it, I've disassembled it, and then I've reassembled all the new parts on it, ready for the season ahead.